I think it's good. I think it's good.
What do you think? Everybody go from there?
I know, he about to be the cameraman. Yeah.
Caravan.
I know, I'm like, chill, baby, chill. I love that carpool. He be here mad records.
All right. Good evening.
Good evening.
How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to the Black Girls Battle Battle. Can't talk this morning. We are going to get started. We have one more panelist coming, so she will arrive at 1 and we'll, when she gets here, she'll jump on the stage. I will let my esteemed group, this panel is called A Black Prayer Call to Action. This was Jeff Carroll's idea, so blame him if you don't like it. And we're going to talk about that. So I'm going to let panel introduce themselves. I'm going to talk about with Jabari, David, Leslie, who's on her way, Jeff, and I see some little to my left to my right. Tell the crew who you are and what you do. Jeff, you start.
My name is Jeff Carroll, and of course, you see that I run my mouth a lot, but I am a person who has been black his whole life, involved myself in the process, right? So I involve myself in my social situation and the situation of other people, and then I happen to write comic books, films, and books in the process of doing that. My latest book is coming to comic book stores next month. It's called The Last Harlemite. Centers around an earthquake fault line that I never knew I worked around for the 15 years that I worked at the world famous Apollo Theater. All right, so I expose the truth in the fun fiction that I have. So enjoy it.
Okay, so, well, first, give yourselves a round of applause for making it to the last panel of the evening. We thank you for coming out. With that, I just want to say peace and blessings. My name is Nasir Gifted. I'll just consider myself an empowering Afrofuturistic visionary who is an engineer by trade, educator by the day, and a comic book writer of an Afrofuturism series called Pete Soldier and Jason, the Rose That Grew from the Concrete at Night. I'm a father, engineer, and also founder of Black Black Comic and Animation Film Festival called KimFest, where we just celebrated our 10th anniversary in Miami, Florida. So I'm definitely proud of that. I'll just pass the mic.
My name is David Crownson, founder of Kingwood Comics and the creator of Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer. Thank you. Like Don Lemon, I've been black since 2014. We're raised in New Jersey, and just keep writing, creating comic books. One coming out called Nightmare in Newark and Killer Bee. It's also coming out, and Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer is being developed to be a TV series with Prentice Penning, created and secure on this small channel called Disney that nobody watches. And thank you for coming. Thank you so much.
What up, y'all? Peace family. I am I'm a lot of things. A creator, musician, artist. So I'm a game developer, I have my own studio. Just released a game, working on some more. Oh, right, yeah. So just released a game called Tetra Tactics. Yeah, you can go copy it on Steam. Also, I'm the Oakland director for the Hidden Genius Project. If you don't know about us, definitely look us up. We train and mentor young black boys in technology, leadership, and business. As well, like I said, I do music, so music for games, music for film, and then also an educator in all of these different fields. And then I also do a little bit of events as well, so game director for Afro Comic Con, and also working on some more events that will be coming up soon. All right.
My name is Carl Bernardo. I am the former executive director of Black Gaming. Foundation. I write video games and movies. My last two projects were Street Fighter 6 and Need for Speed Unbound. I teach in my day job, and I am a futurist. My great project is I work on both narrative and media with Karen Hunter of Sirius XM Radio of that community. So that's what I do. All right. So our idea when Jeff we talked about this was what is going on with black creators. Some of them create stuff and don't want to be black. Some of them create stuff and don't want to be seen. So I create some questions, ask questions. How do black creators get stuff made? How do things happen? So the panel's job is to try to give you information about how you make things, how they make things. I'm limiting their answers to less than 2 minutes. If you go 2 minutes, I will rate you. To make like you have to get answers.
Late night panel, right?
Or, yes, shots. So I'm making sure that y'all know. The rule is if your answer under 2 minutes. All right, first question from the board.
And go.
What are some strategies or initiatives that empower black creatives to have more control over their narratives and representation in the industry? Jeff, you're up.
All right. I will say the most empowering strategy that I had was eliminating the gatekeepers by using Kickstarter. And I use GoFundMe and I use Indiegogo. I actually used Indiegogo for the same comic that I did on Kickstarter and was not able to raise one fraction of the money. So being able to fund your product and being able to introduce it to a wide group of people and be able to create some excitement around it all happens when you see 8 days left. Come on, yo, who's gonna, it's a rallying cry. Let's make this comic, So I think Kickstarter crowdfunding really did it for me and amongst other things. So that's 2 minutes. Let's give it to
Yeah.
David, you guys Kickstarter success at all? Did you use it at all?
Yes. I've had 3 different Kickstarters and raised over like $60,000 on Kickstarter. But I would say just having like a social media presence and not being worried about like how many likes you get or engagement. Just keep having like a social media presence and being online. And I say that just because like I think during the pandemic I shot this like Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer short, and I was really proud of it. And it came out looking really cool. Like one of my friends who's a great cinematographer shot it for me, and I was like, oh, this is gonna get 1 million likes. It's gonna be dope as hell. And it got like, I think like 200 views or something like that. So I was like, and I put all my money and resources into it, right? And it's during like the pandemic, the lockdown. And you know, so anywho, I went to like Wendy's to use the last $9 to buy a meal. And I'm all like, yes, I should have got it, but no, I got the classic triple. I was very sad. And one of my friends called me. It was Sebastian Jones, and he was like, "Hey man, I'm working with Prentice Penny. We saw your thing. Like it looks great. Like what are you doing with Harriet Tubman's thing?" I'm like, He's like, hey man, do you want to like talk about making it into a TV show? And you know, like it could have. So I just say that because if 1 million people see your thing, if 1 million people see it and like it, you know, it might not be the 200 people that can be effective and actually push it to be something that other people like see or develop. So have a loud social media presence, have a loud, unproblematic social media presence, and also just show off your personality because we want to see the thing that you created, and we also want to meet you, who's behind it, and just be vulnerable. And yeah, that's it.
This sounds like a great question for a PR executive. Once you on the stage, Leslie, you'd like to talk about that a little bit?
Hello, everybody. I did not hear the question. My bad. Review, because I kind of got here a little late.
It's what are some strategies or initiatives creatives have control over their narratives and representation in the industry?
So I can speak to representation. So as he just kind of called me out, I am a publicist in the entertainment industry, and I have been doing it for 20 years. And some of the key things that I see in terms of representation is like, a lot of people, kind of what you were saying, like you thought that you were gonna get like all these views and all of this stuff on this product that you did, but the right person saw it. And so when you have like somebody like me, like a publicist, you know, what we do is we cheerlead for you. We try to get you into doors, into rooms that you may not be able to get in on your own. I usually tell people that don't have a budget that can afford a publicist to do the DIY strategy, which is to get your stuff on the social media, which is to put it in all forms or fashion or any way that you can get it out. Because the main thing that you just said, which is so key, is that if 10 people see your video and that one right person see it, it's a win for you, you know? It's gonna be that life-changing video. I actually met somebody recently who that happened to. I think he said that only a few people saw his video, but one of those people just happened to be the right person. And next thing I know, I'm gonna meet on the Sony lot. So, yeah, that is what I will say to that.
Gotcha. So you sort of Kickstarter, social media, are there any other strategies you recommend?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in real quick, actually short and sweet. Oh yeah, there we go. No, but honestly, it's actually really, there's one thing that literally anybody can do, which is be yourself. One of the things that we see a lot happening, even if we go into like looking at, you know, a lot of Hollywood or whatever, a lot of folks with a lot of money out there, is a lot of times they're copying stuff, and that's actually a really bad strategy. The best thing that you can do is be unique, right? Because that will allow you to stand out. And I've seen it not just in my own work, but in others as well, right? And they got all kind of fancy words for it, niche and et cetera, right? But what can you do to make yourself irreplaceable? That you can't be copied, right? That no one else can do what you're doing. And a lot of times that's just being yourself, because we're all so unique. So the more authentic you are to yourself and refine that, the more that you're gonna be able to stand out. And then you just gotta be a little patient, and there you will have your own following.
I'm gonna add that real quick. Some of us don't study our own culture enough.
Right.
You don't study our history enough. So if you have no ideas to pull from, you don't read enough.
Right.
So if you're struggling, you want to be a creator, you're like, I don't know how to make something I'm gonna copy. That means you need to go a deep dive and read some things that you have never read before. You need to go to a deep dive and see things you've never seen before, so you have somewhere to pull from. Because just your own experience may not be enough to create something unique. So you need to pull things that are ancient, that are unique, that's things that stories are not told. Do a heavy amount of research, not about movies and television, but about history and stories that have not been told.
Let me just add on, because I was about to say what you said, and I jumped in so early. But to the narratives part, let's not Wikipedia ourselves. And by the way I say that, I mean, I use Wikipedia as a start point, and I never accept that meme that's posted as the actual use of reading the article. And when I say read the article, that means get to know what the history is behind something, and then that way, no matter what somebody else's opinion of it is, or whatever else they say about it, you know the real history. Then, because when we're talking about fiction, we're talking about lies, right? Stretching of truth, exaggerations. If you don't take time to know the truth, you're gonna get lost in the lie of the narrative. So if I say, I'm gonna write a Black Columbus story, and he's gonna discover Europe, you understand? But I have to understand what the real Columbus story was before I create the lie about Columbus, because it's like that out here in fiction. So, like you said, deep dive into it, learn the real source code of all the things that you talk about, so that way when you distort them with your exaggeration, or your lie, or your fictional story, you know what you're lying about.
So I'll give you two. 50% of all cowboys are black.
Right.
That's the story. That's my story. But everybody, a lot of people heard that. 30% of all pirates are black.
How about that?
You ain't never seen a black pirate story.
I have.
My bad.
I live in Miami with Black Caesar. Google him.
All right, next question. Should black creatives lean into the use of artificial intelligence in creative endeavors?
No, don't do it. No AI. No shortcuts.
Yes.
It's a long way. Figure it out. No AI. No AI. No AI. Next question.
We have a challenge.
I was saying here for a second.
Hire an editor. Next question. Hire an artist. Sorry, everyone.
What about
I'm
using
very
visual
passionate
effects?
about it.
Can you use it in Adobe After Effects? Can you use it in visual effect programs?
Okay, so let me ask a question first. I know we got to protest no AI. Right? I'm an English teacher, okay? I teach 12th grade and I battle chat GPT all the time and stuff. My kids, I'm gonna catch you. I'm not teaching a little computer, I'm teaching a human, and I need you to be the computer, all right? But my question is, let's define what AI is. Because we can say no AI and use Grammarly, right? We can say no AI and use Google Maps, right? Right. You know, so I think we need to talk about what the level is and what the usage level of it is, because sometimes it saves money for a certain level of things, but you don't use it for the finished product. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You can use it,
Yeah.
because right now I said Wikipedia. You can Google and it's going to be an AI Googling. So are we saying in my day, when we used to go to the library and go through microfiche, you know what I'm saying? So Wikipedia is an AI. And ain't nobody gonna say, hey, go to the library and do the way research was meant, you know, with the microfiche, son. No, technology is a tool. AI is a tool. So learn to use the tools that's out here and don't become a victim of the tool. This is your best brain right here. All those are tools, because it's not intelligent. So it's just a tool.
Yes.
So I was going to jump into that, and I was going to say, you know, when we talk about AI, when we talk about artificial intelligence, it's either one of those two things. It's either a tool or it's a weapon, right? So people weaponize things that they don't understand a lot of the times, right? But we talk, and, you know, I'm a school educator by day, so we are battling that battle with AI. But when we look at it as a tool, and you're talking about doing comparative text, if you wanted to look at the historical aspect of pirates, and you wanted to compare it to something that actually happened in Kemet, you know, and being able to make a comparative analysis, you can use the AI to be able to do that, to be able to not only use that to do a summary, but then get a structure to, you know, your story, your plot, you know, your outline that you're looking to build later on. Now, the creativity aspect of all of this, wow, it's a serious.
You see, you're pissed off God. God said.
That was applause. That was applause. God was applauding. I'll change That's right. It's how you interpret it. Keep on, Princess.
He's like,
something simple. I know he's like, no to AI. But AI is definitely here to stay.
Oh, yeah,
and
definitely.
so you're gonna have to embrace it and figure out what and how you want to use it and how it's going to work and what you're doing in your project. Also, what he just said, which is you're gonna either use it as a tool or as a weapon.
Right.
I've seen editors use it to kind of get like a guideline for a project, and then they'll come in and add their own, you know, edits or cuts to it or whatever they want to add to it. So it's definitely here to stay. So however you want to do with that information, go ahead and do what you want.
I'm gonna say it like this. Honestly, we need to not be afraid of technology. I'm gonna kind of take it back to, like I said, I'm a musician, a producer, all this. I'm gonna take it back to like some stuff my pops was saying, because he like played the piano too, right? He was like, man, I'm tired of all these new cats and they got the, because he'll see me on a computer with Pro Tools or whatever, and be like, yeah. But like back in my day, we ain't had none of that, man. We just, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Listen, we had the track, we didn't have like, you know what I'm saying? You couldn't do none of that, man. We had to have the grand piano. We couldn't have, but like, I think the thing that we're all saying here too is there's an ethical use of technology, but the truth is that technology is here, period, right? And we need to understand how to use it. And the truth is that AI has actually been around for decades, right? Like spell check, all of this stuff. AI has actually been around for a long time. The reason why we're starting to get very concerned with it is because the sophistication and the power of it has become so strong that we're seeing the damage that it could potentially do. But just like all of these other forms of technology, we don't need to be afraid of it. We just need to be mindful of how it's being used. So we're having the right discussions, but that doesn't mean that we need to avoid it completely. Because what's gonna happen is, right, we exist in a world, right? And right now, I'm in this room with my melanated folks, so I'm talking about us right now. We exist in a world with other people, so we need to be mindful of what's going on, right? And we don't want to completely alienate ourselves from a powerful technology just because it could be misused. Let's learn how to not misuse it, but still use it to empower ourselves. Because very much so, AI won't replace a person, but a person who knows how to use AI will replace a person who does not.
Wow.
And I'm going to say to David, who doesn't use self-checkout or any of these other things.
I don't have a problem doing self-checkout or having, someone put an apostrophe in my stuff. If somebody just says AI can
but it's AI. We're talking about AI here, so this is what we're talking about.
Listen,
You can't pick and choose when you use
AI cleans my house. To correct an apostrophe or a semicolon, I have problems with people saying, man, I can't write this script. AI, write this entire script.
No.
AI, I need you to record this album.
I've actually done a whole podcast on this whole thing. the creativity of the human being is always going to be an element that is always going to be a part of the creative process. So when we look at all of this, from script writing to writing and narrative and everything, of course you may be using some tool, Grammarly or AI or whatever, to do your editing and everything. But I think we're, as we look at Hollywood and the industry and everything, we're going to get to a point where you want to see the creative process. And the behind the scenes is going to be so important because of tools like AI and everything. Because the value of what people are putting in effort and the sweat and tears and the long hours, people want to see that, you know what I'm saying? And that's something that AI can't produce. So being able to see that actual process actually come out, that's going to be something that's going to be another layer to your project when you're going to be showing those behind the scenes, those bloopers, those real live cuts to show that, look, this is an authentic product. And authenticity is going to be the new wave that everyone's going to kind of jump into. And you can't substitute authenticity.
We're gonna move on.
Happy New Year.
All right.
We love each other.
Your answer cannot be Kickstarter.
Oh yeah, we go way back.
The rule is your answer cannot be Kickstarter. Black ideas have historically been underfunded. What innovative strategies can be explored to secure funding for Black creative projects and secure financial support for their realization? And your answer cannot be Kickstarter.
Right.
No, you can answer it, but you can.
Okay.
Any of you.
I'll go. Before it was Kickstarter, I had a friend who funded his comic book through supporting other businesses by allowing them to take out advertisement. And I employed that into my other forms of funding. And I allow ads in my comic books. I almost do like business card. I have a whole page where it's like yearbook. You can take out the business card ad, get a comic book, and you get your business card in there. I even did full out written ads. So like you would see Superman holding a Coca-Cola. I would write one of my characters holding somebody's product if they paid me, and I put that ad in my comic book. So my friend had original Haitian patties. I did a whole thing where the kids was hungry, and I took an ad that they did for Kool-Aid and remixed it and wrote them an original one where they was like, I want some patties. And it was like a little commercial, and it was in my comic book, you know? So those are some creative ways, you know, that you can fund your comic book short of selling sweet potato pie and building a college like Mary McLeod. Couldn't cook in college. So you could do a fish fry for your comic book. Go ahead.
Just rob white people. Make sure it's at night. Make sure you have someone else to help you out. Sir, run after this. I'm not kidding. Joe.
I'll co-sign that.
Hey, how's it joke, everyone? Damn. I just think whatever you make, just make sure it's of undeniable quality, because undeniable quality is universal and will resonate with everybody. And make the thing of the highest quality that you can do, and have passion with it, be vulnerable about it. That is contagious. Again, passion is contagious to everybody. And if they see something that's like cool, or if it's done well, done at the highest quality, like they'll buy it and they'll invest into it. And
I'm just gonna overshoot. And what I mean is, I was raised like David, highest quality is what you put out. But the newer generation of creators shows you the journey of what they're doing. They start from the very scratch. Like, I got a piece of bucket of shrimp, watch me make this or something. Like, they start early, and the people that are funding them take the journey of the creation with them. I've seen both
Yeah,
strategies
yeah.
work now. It's not only like being perfect and putting it out there, but also showing people what you're doing along the way. It's also been some ways people have gotten money and gotten projects funded. I don't disagree with that as my process, but I've seen people do it that it's effective.
Yeah, I show behind the scenes stuff, like, I'm sorry. No, I was just saying, like, to piggyback off that, yes, like, even, it goes back to even social media, even showing like the behind the scenes stuff, you know, even showing like sketches, or even showing like I'll even share art that people that I'm collaborating with, like the early stages of it, and the behind the scenes of it, from like pencils, inks, colors, or then I have one thing where it's like, be like this, and it's like, you know, I'm having writer's block or something like that, you know, and yeah, just let people into that vulnerable experience. Like, we'll give that Negro money.
Leslie, you were right.
I'm gonna kind of contradict what you guys are saying about putting out your best. Sometimes it's just putting out the work, and each time you put out a different project, you get better and better and better with it. So it's not necessarily having to put out your best work out the box. It's what I like to call an Issa Rae or a Quentin Bronson effect, where they were putting out more and more and more content, and the more content they put out, the better it got, the more that you were all engaged to it and drawn into it. I have a young director that I'm working with right now, and last year he put out 6 films on YouTube. Very short, 15, 20 minutes. He's actually working on his 7th film, and we are talking to Tubi now. And so he's put in a lot of work. Somehow he trusts me. I don't know what it is about me. But when I watch his projects, I'm like, oh, that's great. He's been self-funding them. He does, you know, he gets local students or whoever he needs to fit into these projects that he has. I mean, even to the latest one that he just did, it involved a strip club, and one of the people that he found on Craigslist happened to be a stripper, happened to know the boss lady working for her new strip club, and so now he's shooting it this weekend in her club, and the script of it was really good, and that's the one that we're talking to you about. So it's not necessarily always about putting out the best, it's just growing and getting better and learning with each project. And then in terms of funding them, one of the things that I was gonna say is that look at brands, see what brands need, and see what you could offer to the brands. Put together like a one sheet or like some type of package and send it to the brand. Send it out to as many of them as you can. Who knows? You may get like a mom and pop that's like, hey, I may have a $500 budget. Can you include me in this? Or, you know, what you're offering them is whatever audience you have, and they're leveraging your audience against what their brand is if it fits the needs. And again, start small. You know, nobody jumps out and all of a sudden you're here. It's the baby steps, the next step, and the next step, and the next step. So that's one of the things that I would suggest in terms of funding.
Okay. I wanted to piggyback off of what Queen just stated. Feedback is super, super important when you are, you know, a creative and doing a project. But I want to kind of echo something that David said earlier. You want to have pride in everything that you do, right? So not only pride, but pride stands for perseverance, being able to persevere, resilience within this integrity, determination, and above all, excellence in everything that you do. So having pride in your project and everything that you do, receiving feedback, improving upon yourself each and every time that you do an iteration. That's kind of like going through the whole engineering design process and everything, just understanding that there is something that you are creating and then receiving that. Because everyone in here, from what I'm seeing, got a smartphone, you know, and they get it 99.9% right. And then every so often you get this thing called an update. That's based on the feedback that they receive from you, the consumer, because what they do is they give you the product and it does what it says it's supposed to do. And then they work out the bugs, right? And that's based off of the consumer who's actually using the actual product. So when you're coming up with an idea, that's the exact same thing that you're doing and going through that particular process, right? And then the last piece that I wanted to reiterate is strategic partnerships. Strategic partnerships will help you elevate your brand and help another brand to be able to do that. So whatever creative project that you are coming up with, there is a strategic partner that you can be able to build alliance with to be able to not only fund your project, but also be able to further your project because they may have some type of market share that you could be able to tap into and then actually gain market share, you know, within that particular space as well.
So, I'm piggybacking on a whole bunch of people here, but the underlying thing in making a comic book, people, is to make money, right? It's definitely to get your comic book out there, to get your ideas out there. But what do people do when they want to make money? They talk to other people of how the product can make money. So when I made my film, I didn't say, oh, I'm gonna make a movie with a lot of black people, and that's it. No, I said, if we spend this amount of money, and we get to show it here, it's gonna make this amount of money. So you share that to people with money. That's called a business plan, right? So how we all mention everything except the main thing. So I write PowerPoints, business plans, pitch decks, proposals for my movies, and I started doing that for my comic books. And there are people that will see the business opportunity of investing into your comic book and becoming the executive producer of your said comic book because it will turn a profit. Now that may not happen because it's a hard market out here, but you can still do it to raise money and have people, you know, this is how much each one is gonna cost. And I did it. I had a whole company fund a comic book that I did for them. So in Florida. So yes, you can do it. Write a business plan. It isn't hard. And it was around before Kickstarter. So yes.
Can you use AI or business plan?
Oh my God. No comment.
How can Afrofuturism and technology shape the future of like storytelling? What groundbreaking pieces, projects, or concepts within this space are you most excited about? It's not to be your own work, it's somebody else's work you're excited about, what you're excited to do. This space, that you're everybody kind of pay attention to. You can give us a brief answer.
Please.
Anybody? Anything like? Anything here?
I mean, it's a number of projects that are like, you know, shout out to the two brothers here in the front who have the graphical history of hip hop. So I'm excited about that project. I'm just a witness to that. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, you too. Please give the brothers a round of applause. It's on the internet, you know, all of these different spaces and everything. So, you know, they are definitely an inspiration for, you know, the projects that, since we can't talk about our projects, you know, so. But when we talk about Afrofuturism in space, being able to, just being able to control our narrative is definitely key to be able to tell our story, because no one can tell our story like we can tell our story. And understanding that there is a historical aspect, there's a cultural aspect, there's a number, even economic aspect to all of this that we're doing, and no one can tell that like us. So, you know, just being able to be our original selves and own it, and being able to be within these spaces is something that I'm definitely super excited about. And then Jeff actually has the last Harlem Light, that I'm excited about as well. All of these projects that I'm hearing, you know, David's gonna be on network TV. Like that is big time. Like he you know, he jokes around a lot, but he doing some really major things. My man Roy Coupe, he might not be in here, but he's on Cartoon Network, you know, so, I mean, and that was my taping lead. You know, we went to every convention, we did every convention together, and he's doing, you know, he has his project on Cartoon Network. So, I mean, I'm excited about all these, but the last thing I've actually watched was Supercell, and I was excited about that. You know, I was actually talking to this brother about writing prequel for that. So that was something that, you know, how we actually got to that space and everything. I thought that was unapologetically black narrative, and without a lot of the fluff that we have here, you know, I'm gonna say stateside, you know, that gets infused into some of the narratives that you know, Hollywood or whoever else wants to kind of push, you know, within the space. But I thought this was like just using creativity, being able to be original in their authentic selves, to be able to tell a story.
Biggest project, and thank you for the shout out. The biggest project that I am excited for, and I've been excited before the project was even announced, was this anthology called Space Funk. And I was a Trekkie, right? And I embraced the opening where it says space, the final frontier. And I started writing science fiction in 2009. And when I wrote it, I was saying, you know, everybody was writing black paranormal stories, black vampire, werewolf love stories, stuff like that. And it was doing Black Conan the Barbarian, African warriors. And I was like, that's not science fiction. You know, Star Trek is, Star Wars is that. When are we gonna get to outer space? And Space Funk is that. Black writers from around the world embracing space. I remember watching Star Wars and saying, the world is only 1% white. Why is the universe 90% white and we just got little Lando Calrissian or somebody that's where's the black planet that they come from? So for me, that's empowering, and I think it's a game changer for all of us, whether it's books, film, comics, or even video games. For them to put that out there, wish all those writers the best.
Anybody else got one?
I just want to say, not necessarily Afrofuturism, but I'm happy that we got some great black folks in House of Dragons. We're in that space that we're actually considered. There's been so many times throughout the years that we watch movies and we're like, so y'all got a whole future and not one black person is supposed to be in the future? Like, y'all just think we gonna sit behind our Cadillac spaceships and just I just wanted to say that it's important for us to be in all of the space, not just in, you know, like a all black movie or all black cast, but we need to be in all of the spaces. And so for me, I'm very happy to see us in that particular space because I love the show.
I'll just hop in real quick and just say another vote for Supercell. It was definitely fired. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, really well done. Looking for more of that and just more stuff like that. But another thing too, I keep looking at this and I'm like, Afrofuturism, technology, shape the future. One thing I want to see a lot more of is like more collaboration between us black creators, right? Like, what's stopping us from making a video game of the comic book or making a film of the video game or et cetera, and like even being able to reuse assets and share skill sets and technology and all of that to just expand our reach, right? So that's kind of what I'm seeing when I look at this.
There's a great game on EA Play called Zal Legends of Sin, which is a great African fantasy game. First ever African fantasy studio by a major publisher. And it's free on PlayStation. You got it. Look on the PlayStation Plus app. But it's an amazing 2D game. It's great. All right, next question.
Wait. I didn't say what I'm excited about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We said we were excited about you already. Yeah, no, it's not me. I'm really excited about Lion Forge Animation and Decoy Games. Yeah, Lion Forge. Yeah, clap for them. They're amazing. Right. So they're just crushing it. And Decoy Games, which is a black-owned video game company, like they're gonna take over. So love them.
Next question. What are some software programs black creators should be using? And those kids taking seriously professionals. What should you know if you want to be in the industry? In your industry, what should you know?
I'm out. That's not for me.
Really want to troll David and say ChatGPT, but
You know, ChatGPT is not the only one out there.
I know. I'm just trying to do it. But
Now, brother, say it your chest.
but honestly, so I specialize in like game development, and I definitely think that we're starting to see it more, but I'm really want to say Unreal for sure. Unreal is just so strong, and it's getting stronger every year. But also, it can be used for more than just games, right? And so I think that folks really want to start looking into all the various applications that you can use it for, right? Like they were already using it in Mandalorian and all these things, right? So you can use it for a lot of things. So So I would definitely say Unreal is a major one that I think folks should be looking into. Yep.
And I just want to echo that if we're talking about video games, visual and special effects, Unreal, Unity Engine will be another platform for animation going into, besides using Unreal once again in Unity, you can go into Toon Boom. Toon Boom is actually an excellent user-friendly platform for the phenomenal artists. And then, on a simpler platform, you can use Animate, right? So Animate is another platform that you can actually get into. But on that Google Suite, you can do the script writing, you can do screenplays, all of that stuff in Google Suite, and make a lot of things happen, from the presentations and everything. But Canva has actually been my best friend. Canva has been my best friend for the last year and a half now. Just being able to create visuals, for the, from marketing to presentations and everything else in between.
I'll jump in one more thing real quick. There's a lot of different ones you can use for this. I'm gonna say Trello, because it's my favorite, but you can use whatever you want. You can do a Asana, a Notion, whatever. But just really learning the strength of project management. Having worked with so many professionals on different levels, I can't stress that enough, even with students, etc. I don't care if you're working by yourself or you're working with like a team of 100, having really solid project management workflow is like night and day. Allows you to do something, that maybe it used to take you 100 days and now you can do it in 10 because you actually have a strong process. So I would say really learning a project management tool really well and then learning like that flow and how to stick to it. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say, probably the oldest one on the panel here. I'm gonna put a little senior rank, and say, as a writer, there are tools that I've found online that are apps that help me develop my characters and develop my world building. I did not play Dungeons and Dragons, but Dungeons and Dragons formula of character development is amazing. So if any of you all writers out there, everything your character owns, from the belt to the hat that they wear, should be relative to who they are as a character. And role-playing games help you do that. Not only do they tell you it has a role, but it has a history. And that is a stepping stone to apps online. So how I built my universe with my different planets is I went on a role-playing game builder online that allowed me to build my planets with the temperature, with the size, the population, humanoid structure, all those things. I don't even know if it's AI, whatever it is, and I'm pretty sure when I was younger there was ways to do it on paper. I'm just saying there's ways to do it now online, on app. It's developed by these smart guys here, but it's a tool for writers that we can use to help you do things to make you look more professional.
I would say if you're a writer, scrivener, be something that should be in your wheelhouse. It's absolutely one of the best writing program that exists in the world. If you're in game development, you should, Unity and Unreal always talked about, but you should know at least something about the 2D engines too, because there's a bunch of 2D engines that no one uses that are actually easier. Construct is one of them. I think it's somebody that you know, Game Maker. And then in the film world, if you don't know the Adobe suite, you shouldn't play the game. Like, so anything in Adobe you should be familiar with. If you know how layers work, things like that, you should at least know what Adobe is. DaVinci Resolve is free. You download it, and it's world-class, powerful. That is a program. Oh, last one. If you're a parent, no, if you're a parent, seriously, Roblox has a studio. It's called Roblox Studio. And kids can build games in Roblox Studio for free and make money off it. And Roblox is played by 60% of the kids in the country. 60% of all children in the United States are playing Roblox. And so your kid who plays Roblox all day, between the ages of 5 and 12, if they took that time and actually learn how to make games in Roblox, they can make money off of it. So that's what I think that is overlooked often is Roblox. Next one. Let's skip that one. Sorry. All right, here's my controversial one.
Oh, good.
Is hip hop still a voice of black culture?
Yes.
Yes and no.
What is that?
Yeah, that's what.
Because this is a black creator panel.
Hip hop
Hip
culture.
hop has been, no, but I'm
Okay.
Wait one second. Hip hop has been taught, every generation since hip hop has
That's the
grown
music
in
business.
a generation. But is it still the voice of black culture universal like it was in the 90s and the 80s, like you say it is now?
Can I start my answer off with an off-key rendition of what I think the answer will be given with?
You're gonna rap?
Ooh, 5 in the morning. How many of y'all heard of Tim's? How many of y'all heard of Afro beats? That to me is replacing hip hop. And I say that because I predicted it when I went to Africa, okay, in Ghana, and I heard a radio station that was playing merengue, old school reggae, and old school R&B, back to back to back to back. And it was playing 80s and 90s hip hop, all on the same playlist. And I was like, in America, we have times for each one of these separate genres, but yet they look at us in the diaspora and see us as one, because we all came from them. So, like, I watched the whole house disco music documentary, and the guy from Philadelphia who created the Philadelphia sound, who said it's the disco sound, said it came from the boom, 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 boom. So that we like to take credit for, but just like Caribbeans like to take credit for their type of rice and peas and all of that, and then when you go to Africa, you be like, Dad, they got jollof rice, and that tastes better than all of y'all islands, different ones. So all the little hip hops that we made, all the little bachatas, the merengues, the salsa, the sambas, all go back to a West African beat. So when we talk about black culture, our hip hop is what people like to say is a music, right? I argue that it's a culture, but even everything that derives from that hip hop is a mixture of everything in the diaspora, and everything in the diaspora, when it comes together, all of the missing pieces of every little fragmented culture, we form the collective culture that we got from West Africa. So that is where we are. I listen to Afro beats in the taco place that I was at. They got a Mexican version of it. You go to the Dominican Republic, they got it there. You go to Jamaica, they listen to it there. It's so much, you don't even know where the person is from anymore. It's just an Afro beat. And it's, I think, the future of where our culture is going to go. Because I actually think hip hop is sort of dead and it's died a long time ago, and we have a new music form now that's trap music, that's all this other stuff. So, anyway, that's my answer.
So I want to say I agree with you in a big part. I do see that the Afro beats are taking over at a lot of the clubs, at a lot of the spaces, and a lot of projects, and et cetera. But I got words for you.
Let's do it.
So when you see and hear a song like that is being played not just around the country but around the world repeatedly, it lets you know that hip hop culture still has a large presence in what we're doing and in the culture and moving. I'm not going to say it's the full voice of the culture, but it is a big part of it. I also want to say that in terms of it being a voice, it's still a lot of stuff that we have going on. Oh, one more thing to mention in terms of hip hop. So I'm not sure if anybody saw today, but Snoop did just carry the torch. So, he's a big part of it.
You know the free walk is a South African tribal dance. I'm joking.
Hey,
And then the other thing I'm looking forward to seeing in terms of hip hop is that we do have a female vice president that's now running for president. So I can't wait to see what her music and selection is going to be in this culture.
All right. You guys have addressed hip hop relevant, but is it the voice of the culture?
Yeah, I wanna address this question. So I think this question is misdirecting us, right? So This question is assuming that hip hop was the voice of black culture, which I would challenge. I would say, it's cool, you can find me. I would say that hip hop still a voice of black culture. So here's the thing that we do often is we make ourselves unilateral, which we are not, right? There are so many ways that we exist as black people, right? Video game has and is still a voice of black culture. Dance, right? There's so many, like food, right? Like, you know what I mean? So there's so many things, and I agree with you too in the sense that hip hop is not just music, it's a culture, but it's a voice, right? And so Afrobeat taps into it. We forget about R&B. Like, you know, I got a namesake back from HU, he do his R&B only. Them Jones is always sold out. We already know R&B is us. So like, we can't forget about all these other pieces of blackness and make it just hip hop. You know what I mean? It's a voice. And is it still a voice? Yes. And do I like any of this new hip hop? Barely. But you know, it ain't just about Jabari, right? You know what I'm saying? I work with you. You know, they slap you. It's a whole lot of stuff out here that people are still rocking with. You know what I mean? So is it still a voice? Yes. The voice? No. We have many voices.
Yes.
All right.
HU.
You know.
Yeah, two things left. Really quickly, what's the next question we're working on? And we got a new picture, Black Girls got a picture before we're done. So, in 15 seconds, what you're working on and what you know about you. How you got the picture? Sorry.
So I'm a publicist. So right now, one of my clients just happened to be one of the biggest wrestlers, or at least she's on the rise to it. So I'm a publicist for Jade Cargill, WWE.
I will. Better than the AI.
Alright, Jabari, go ahead. Well, hey, finance you, what you working on? Jabari.
Oh, yeah, man, where can y'all find me? Shoot, I'm everywhere, Jabari.Ali. My last name actually got 2 eyes, so you just look me up on one. I'm not really on the socials like that, but you can try to find me. Again, I work with the Hidden Genius Project. Definitely check me out there. I'm in Oakland. Always looking to work with people. Again, I have my own indie studio, Hero's Journey. We just released Texture Tactics. I got a few other things that haven't been announced yet, as well as some events and things like that that haven't been announced yet. But honestly, I love to work with community. So if you're trying to do something in your community, reach out to me. Anything to do with tech, nerd culture, education, and we can make something happen.
David.
Alright, yeah, I'm David Crownson. Follow me at dcrownson. Went by Harry Temple Demon Slayer. I'm at H09 at the Link booth. There's a bunch of irons in the fire, like Harry Temple Demon Slayer being a TV show. And yeah, thank you for coming.
My name is Nasib Gifted. You can find me at Nasib Gifted or at PBS Media Studios. What we have in the fire, we actually have an animation pilot coming out for Pink Soldier called Blacklisted. So that's coming out. Also, we have Jason, the Rose that grew from the concrete. That's going to be adapted into an Afrofuturism experience called The Awakening of Jason. So that's something that we have. And then also the Futures Black podcast. So I'm the host of the Futures Black podcast. So check me out there.
Here's the 15-second pitch. I'm going to be signing my book tomorrow at 1 o'clock at booth 1808. This is Afrofuturism at the best. It is post-apocalypse. It's one of the few comics that you see where black people actually survive to the post-apocalypse. I created a whole organization called the Harlem Survivors that do overnights in Marcus Garvey Park in Harlem. And they don't do it in real life, but in my story, they do. They teach fishing, they teach hunting. Right now, my book is being given away at the Black Gun Association's National Conference in Texas because I had to learn to be a survivalist to write this book because the people in my book are survivalists. They have a bunker, they build bunkers, and this is beautiful fiction that I would like for it to become reality. So please, this book is, the variant cover is only $10, booth 1808. My brother bought 2 copies.